of the most technologically advanced Jeep Grand Cherokee ever. Before we get started, I do have a small request. I highly value your input, so don't forget to comment down below how to improve my videos. Its all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe stands for four-wheel drive and E stands for electric. These 4xe versions differ from normal Grand Cherokee models as they all come as plug-in hybrid. Grand Cherokee is one of the most awarded and best-selling SUVs in the world with more than 7 million sales around the globe. Jeep redesigned Grand Cherokee models in 2021 and introduced plug-in hybrid capability this year for the first time in a Grand Cherokee. Some people pronounce it as 4xe and some pronounce it as 4xe. What is the correct pronunciation? Let me know in the comment section. Time to quickly check out the trim levels. There are 5 Grand Cherokee 4xe trim levels. Those are Limited, Trailhawk, Overland, Summit and Summit Reserve. All the trim levels come with the same powertrain, a gasoline turbocharged 4-cylinder 2-liter engine with 270 horsepower and 4-wheel drive 8-speed automatic transmission. Combined with both electric motor and engine, this SUV can generate up to 375 horsepower and 635 Nm, 470 pound-feet, of torque. 5 trim levels are as follows. Limited starts at $58,095. These are the options and packages you can add on top of this trim. Trailhawk starts at $62,880. These are the options and packages you can add on top of this trim. Overland starts at $66,155. These are the options and packages you can add on top of this trim. Summit starts at $69,820. These are the options and packages you can add on top of this trim. Summit Reserve starts at $74,695. These are the options and packages you can add on top of this trim. You can go to Jeep's official site, check out the specs, add packages and customize your Grand Cherokee 4xe according to your needs. Link in the description. This SUV has roots with the first mass-produced SUV ever. Let's quickly see how that happened. As usual, let's open up the history books and set up the stage for the Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe 2022. Origin of the Jeep goes back to World War II. In June 1940, the U.S. Army solicited bids from 135 automakers for a lightweight reconnaissance vehicle tailored to Army specifications. Only 3 companies responded: Bantam, Willys, and Ford. Bantam BRC-40 was selected and produced from March 31 to December 6, 1941. Bantam was unable to keep up with the rapid production and the U.S. Army went to Willys Overland Motors. That led to the birth of Willys MB, commonly known as Jeep, in 1941. Arguably, this is the first mass-produced 4x4 SUV ever. This became the vehicle of U.S. Army and Allied forces. Since this vehicle was in high demand, Willys Overland gave a non-exclusive license to the U.S. government that allowed another company to manufacture vehicles using the Willys specifications. The U.S. Army chose Ford. Ford created GPW with a small modification. They added a 7-slot grille instead of 9-slot grille. To this date all Jeep vehicles come with this Ford-designed, 7-slot grille. This vehicle was such a popular and successful design, that almost everyone copied it, including Toyota in Japan, Mahindra in India, and Land Rover in the UK. After World War II ended, Willys Overlander became Jeep, and started focusing on luxury SUVs. The Grand Wagoneer is one of the most iconic vehicles in history. Back in the 1980s, then owner of Jeep, AMC needed a new SUV model to replace the Wagoneer and aging Cherokee in the lineup. The result was the Grand Cherokee, now in its 5th generation. For almost 30 years, the Grand Cherokee has been the star of the Jeep lineup. It's no longer the flagship, as that honor now belongs to the new Wagoneer and its derivatives, but it's still the most popular and the most instantly recognizable in the lineup. This is the first Grand Cherokee generation to come as plug-in hybrid. That means you can plug it in, charge its 400 volts lithium-ion battery and drive on fully electric power for 40 kilometers, or 25 miles, without using any gasoline. To fully charge the battery it takes 12 hours on a 120 volts, 15 ampere power outlet. If you plug it into a 240 volts, 30 ampere power outlet, it takes about 2 hours to get charged. 240 volt, 30 ampere is an add-on. It doesn't come with standard trims. However, there is an important thing to emphasize. Most of the electric cars have a mode that allows them to run solely on electric, but it's not the case with Grand Cherokee 4xe. There are 3 driving modes: hybrid, electric and e-save. Even if you enable the electric mode, if you want more acceleration, the gas engine kicks in. You cannot stop the gas engine coming into action if you accelerate aggressively. If you want to stay in electric mode, you have to go easy on the acceleration. Also, there is a regenerative braking system too. Grand Cherokee 4xe has a gasoline turbocharged 4-cylinder 2-liter engine with 270 horsepower 4-wheel drive and 8-speed automatic transmission. Combined with both electric motor and engine, this SUV can generate up to 375 horsepower and 635 Nm, or 470 pound-feet, of torque. It takes 6 seconds to go from 0 to 100 km/h, or 0 to 60 miles per hour. The Grand Cherokee 4xe has an impressive fuel economy. Grand Cherokee has around 24 km per liter, or 56 miles per gas equivalent. It has a 72-liter, or 19-gallon, fuel tank, and when it comes to the combined range, it can drive with a fully charged battery and full gas tank as 712 km, or 443 miles. This SUV comes with 3,265 kilograms, or 7,200 pounds, of towing power in higher trims. Equipped with independent front and rear air suspensions allow the vehicle to adjust the height to maximum ground clearance of 28.7 centimeters, or 11.3 inches, and lower the vehicle to minimum ground clearance of 21.3 centimeters, or 8.4 inches. The Grand Cherokee is good for commuting, long-distance travel and off-roading too. There are 3 driving modes: hybrid, electric and e-save. On hybrid the SUV does balance both the engine and the battery power for better fuel efficiency. In the electric mode vehicle tries to drive with the electric motor only. The acceleration is slow and it takes around 15 seconds to reach from 0 to 100 km/h, or 0 to 60 miles per hour. If you step on the gas pedal aggressively the vehicle shifts from the electric motor to the engine. To stay in the electric mode you have to go easy on the throttle. E-save mode does the opposite of electric mode. It tries to maximize the use of a gasoline engine and minimize the use of the electric motor to save the battery. Specially for off-roading, the Grand Cherokee 4xe comes with 3 4x4 systems: Quadra Track 1, Quadra Track 2 and Quadra Track 3 with rear electronic limited slip differential with Quadra lift air suspension that allows the vehicle to adjust the height to maximum ground clearance of 28.7 cm, or 11.3 inches, and 61 cm, or 24 inches, of waterfording. That is 10 cm, or 4 inches, more than the outgoing Grand Cherokee. These off-roading capabilities are combined with a special feature, sway bar disconnect, that provides improved articulation and traction over rocks and rough terrain, with a perfect balance of on-road dynamics, off-road capability, and 4xe performance. Length: 4.915 meters. Width: 1.968 meters. Height 1.798 meters. Curb weight 2415 kg. Wheelbase 2.964 meters. Turning radius 11.58 meters. Front track width 1.661 meters. Rear track width 1.661 meters. Maximum ground clearance 28.7 centimeters. Minimum ground clearance 21.3 centimeters. Storage space 2004 liters. Battery capacity 17 kilowatt-hours. Fuel tank capacity 86 liters. Water fording depth 61 centimeters. Front legroom 1.05 meters. Front headroom 1.01 meters. Rear legroom 0.97 meters. Rear headroom 1 meter. Before I begin with the exterior, I have found 2 Easter eggs on Grand Cherokee 4xe. If you also know about them, let us know in the comments section. Let's get started on the exterior. The Grand Cherokee 4xe has a nice simple design. Simple and basic, but it looks different compared to the outgoing Cherokee. Let's start with the grille. It has a 7-slot unique chrome grille inherited from Ford back in the days. Front camera is placed in the middle of the grille with a washer, which is a pretty cool feature and useful when you are off-roading. Cruise control sensors are also placed there. The Jeep logo is placed just above the grille. It's outlined blue to remind us that this is electric. Some models include tow hooks on both sides of the front bumper. Beaming with modern design, the standard LED headlamps, fog lamps, and tail lamps make for an impressive view on both inside and outside the Grand Cherokee 4xe. You can pick 2 tone colors or monochrome colors from the available colors for the trim. Also, you can get 18, 20 and 21-inch wheels depending on your trim. Depending on the trim you can pick the wheel design. On the front fender you can see the charging port. If you have a level 1 charger installed, it would take 12 hours to get fully charged, and if you have level 2 installed, that would take around 2 to 3 hours to get fully charged. This SUV has 5 different air suspension levels, which is great for off-roading. Depending on the trim, you get the sunroof as standard or you have the option to add a panoramic sunroof. In the back, there isn't any indication apart from the badge 4xe to indicate this is plug-in hybrid. There are standard LED taillights with a thin design, and dual exhaust tips in the rear bumper along with the parking sensors. Apart from those, trim level badge is placed in the right bottom of the tailgate and Jeep logo is placed in the middle of the tailgate. If we open up the boot, we can see a large cargo area with 37.8 cubic feet, and if you fold the second floor you get 70.8 cubic feet of storage area. Underneath the boot floor there is a spare tire and the charger pack. The 4xe models come only in 2 rows and you cannot get 3 rows with the Grand Cherokee 4xe. The same simplicity carries over to the interior as the exterior. It certainly gives you the feel of a luxury car. On the Limited and Trailhawk trims you can have the Capri leather seats. On the Overland and Summit trims you have the Napa leather seats. On the Summit Reserve trim you have the Palermo leather seats. You can have the power adjustable seats that are also temperature adjustable, and offer massage features with 2-person memory depending on the package you add or the trim level. Seats are comfy and ventilation works well. For the massage you have 5 different levels with 3 different intensities. If you are in a higher air suspension level, you have a nice higher seating position. The Grand Cherokee doesn't come with soft close feature for the doors. This is an expensive SUV and does have good build quality. Door panels are soft touch material and you have a beautiful wood panel with matte finish on the doors spreading to the dashboard alongside with aluminum trims. Window controls are nicely designed and quality is excellent. Steering wheel is a bit large and comes with standard controls plus controls for adaptive cruise control, driver autonomy, screen controls and paddles. Horn is also a pretty decent one. And the steering wheel comes with heated and power-tilted telescopic adjustments. Behind the steering wheel to the left, you have the start button. There are 5 screens in here. If you add the front passenger screen, heads-up display and rear view screen to the standard center console screen in the middle and gauge cluster behind the steering wheel. You can increase the number of total screens to 7 if you add the second row passenger screens too. Heads-up display, front passenger screen and rear passenger screens are add-ons that come with packages or higher trim levels. Behind the steering wheel, you have the 10.25-inch, gauge cluster screen. It is massively configurable and you can adjust it to show whatever you want including off-road displays, air suspension, audio, messages, vehicle info, hybrid information, fuel economy information and GPS. It even lets you configure the little information displays on the edges in addition to the adjustments you can do to the left and right sides. The infotainment system in this vehicle is also fantastic. The screen itself is a little bit smaller, which is 10.1 inches. It's Uconnect 5. The Uconnect 5 is the latest infotainment system that's built for Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. Its advanced technology, entertainment, navigation, connectivity, and communication features help keep you connected from anywhere. On the home screen you have several different things displayed at once. You can see the map, the music, and your phone all at once, or you can tap into each of them to bring it up to the full screen. You also have embedded GPS and it can adjust all your usual settings. You can go to off-road pages, PowerFlow. And the camera system is fantastic. You can see very nice high-quality high-resolution cameras that show various different angles and that makes it really easy for you. You can also see the system is greatly responsive. You tap it just like a smartphone and it is very responsive. You can also clean the cameras from your screen with a tap. It's really neat and gets rid of the dirt if you have been off-roading. On top of the Uconnect system, there are several buttons. First one is for the regenerative braking. This is a plug-in hybrid vehicle that has relatively strong regen braking which allows you to do almost one-pedal driving. It doesn't bring you down to a complete stop but it helps you put more charge back to the battery pack. Next you have the lane departure alert on and off. Next one is stability control. Next you have your automatic parallel parking feature where this vehicle will basically search for a perpendicular or a parallel parking spot. It'll park itself for you. This vehicle comes with optional driver assist feature where the vehicle does most of the work with steering and it won't change lanes for you, but it's a really useful feature. Jeep hasn't integrated any of the climate controls to the infotainment system. The climate controls are directly below the Uconnect display. You can see physical buttons, switches, and knobs for the climate controls. So you don't have to go into various menus or settings to mess with the climate controls. When you open up just below the climate controls you have the wireless phone charging pad and 4 USB ports and HDMI port for the passenger where you can plug in like a video game console. You could play video games, you could watch movies over there on the passenger side. Then you have the 2 cup holders and under the handrest, there is a 2-layered storage area. On the front passenger side you can have the 10.2-inch passenger screen which is about $1,000 extra on the lower trims and standard on the Summit Reserve. This screen is handy because the passenger can pair a Bluetooth device or put in a navigation destination without disturbing what's on the center screen, and while the passenger does that the driver can keep the focus on the drive, which is a neat idea by the Jeep. Next up, yet another screen is the rearview mirror. It is just a standard one, but if you flip this switch on the bottom it becomes a camera screen facing behind. This option comes with additional $2,000 if you are in a lower trim, otherwise it's a standard option. This feature is useful if the car is full of stuff or you have people sitting in the back seat. You don't have to look through them in the mirror. Instead you have a camera here that's showing you everything behind you. These days more and more SUVs come with air suspension, which is not only more luxurious and comfortable than the standard suspension, but you can adjust the positioning and height of the vehicle. You have this little switch in the center console, and if you are going off-roading you can push it up and the car will raise itself for more ground clearance. If you want to let somebody in or you can't quite climb into a tall SUV, you can lower it all the way to make it easier to step inside. In the center you have the rotary shifter to switch between drive, reverse and parking. On the other side of this suspension button you can see another button, and that's for shifting the drive modes, and there are several different drive modes for the new Grand Cherokee, aimed both at on and off-road driving as rock, sand, mud, snow, auto, sport. If you have a high-end Summit version of the new Grand Cherokee, then you get a Macintosh sound system. You can see a couple of the speakers on the dashboards here and on the door panel. On the left to the steering wheel there are 3 buttons to change the driving modes. Those are hybrid, electric and e-save. We discussed each of these in the performance section. On the roof you have the controls for the sunroof. You get a nice big panoramic sunroof where you have this power retractable shade which lets in a lot of light, and you can also open up the sunroof in the first row, but the second row is fixed and cannot open it. Next, we move on to the second row of the new Grand Cherokee 4xe. You have a bit of okay headroom and legroom space in the back, and there is a floor hump. This SUV comes with individual rear seat climate controls, which is an add-on. Passengers can choose their own climate temperature, including heated and cooled rear seats. There is a power outlet and 4 USB ports for charging your phone, with options for USB-A and USB-C for extra $230. You can get the manual rear sunshades. Rear doors come with wood panel and speakers. There is an armrest that folds down with 2 cup holders. The Jeep Grand Cherokee is rated 5 stars by NHTSA. This SUV comes with a bunch of safety and security features, including 118 mph maximum speed calibration, active lane management system, adaptive cruise control with stop and go, blind spot and cross-path detection, electronic stability control, 4-wheel traction control, full-speed forward collision warning, hill descent control, hill start assist, LED low-beam daytime running lamps, rear park assist with stop, rear backup camera, remote start system, security alarm, selectable tire fill alert, speed control, tire pressure monitoring display, trailer sway damping. Level 2 hands-on driving assistant option comes with extra $2,235 as part of the Advanced Protect Group 3. Only on the top-end Summit trims is this active safety suite standard with the active driving assist equipped. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much for staying till the end of the video. If you hit the subscribe button and the like button, it would be a great help and motivation for me to bring more new reviews like this. Also, I highly value your input, so don't forget to comment down below how to improve my videos. See you in the next video.